Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another webinar series of business research consults. Today, we are bringing something very different. It's for work, and one of our lecturer and our CMD will be presenting on our work-life balance as it should be, we should be concerned about. And she will be giving her about the next 1 hour to present for us. So please, doctor, the stage is yours.
Awesome. Okay. Good afternoon. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Please, am I audible enough?
Yes, you're audible. I'll just share your slide.
All right. Okay. As introduced, I want to introduce myself again. I'm Dr. Adeyemi Bashirat from Al-Hikmah University Health Services. It's actually a delight to be here today because any opportunity that we have, to spread the news of good health, we are always happy and enthusiastic. We want people to know. Many people don't know. And if we have known a lot of things, primary prevention is the key. We don't want it to happen at all in the first place. So if you have a way of preventing it from happening, it is the best. That is what we want as a public health practitioners. So today's topic, as introduced, work-life balance, a reminder on healthy living and longevity. When some people see this, they see it more of a social thing, like a social science thing. They might even be wondering why it's a medical doctor that is called. But as we go on, we will see the essence of this discussion. In life, that when you have tried many times, you try to achieve some things, it's just not working. Mentally, it's weighing you down or something like that. But when you have a belief in a kind of a supernatural being or deity, or you just have a feeling that there is connection between you and something that you can't see, and that thing will eventually help when everything seems to be impossible again. It has a way of elating your mood. It has a way of making you feel better. You don't feel depressed. Okay, I've tried this, I've tried that. But spiritually, there's a connection somewhere. Something will happen, something more like a miracle. So because of this feeling, because of the way these things have helped, WHO has tried to add that spiritual well-being to be part of how you should be healthy. And that is why in hospitals these days, in the olden days, they'll say, no pastor, no praying, no putting up olive oil for Christians. You don't allow rukia in the hospital. But these days, no. Now we do, because we know they have effects on the outcome of any individual that is sick. So if for you to be healthy, you have to be complete physically, mentally, socially, and also spiritually, and not just the absence of physical illnesses I'll call infirmity, or what everybody knows as disease. Now, what we are talking about actually is more of a mental health issue. We need to define what mental health too is. When we say mental health, it's essential for you to know that this is like part of some researches that people have done. Mental health issues, disorders, are far more than physical issues. They are more because people don't, it's not something you see, it's not easily perceived. You understand? Even the person that is sick does not know he's sick sometimes when it comes to mental issues. So it's wide. It's a big problem for us. It is there. We have it everywhere. Now, what is mental well-being? It is a state whereby an individual recognizes their abilities. You should be able to recognize the ability of what you can do. If you're having a delusion, if you're delusional, that means you are thinking of doing something that is beyond what you can do. That is the poor ability. You should be able to cope with normal stresses of life. On the line, normal. There's no way you will not go through stress in life. If you say you can't go through stress, it's not possible. But your ability to be able to cope with that stress is what makes you to be mentally healthy. Then you should be able to work productively, not just work, keep working and working without any fruitful thing achieved. You should be productive and should be fruitful and make a contribution to the community. So at the end of the day, when you have all this capability, your mental capacity is good. At the end of the day, we want you to be able to have impact on the community, whichever community you belong to. And in this scenario that we're talking about today, our community would be what? The work community and our family. That is a community. Where you are working as a community on its own. So when you are stable mentally, you have impact on your work environment and also back at home. So you will say that these things are very essential for you to be able to maintain a balance between your work and your personal life. Now, work-life balance again. go in now, is the interference. Work-life interface is the intersection of work and private life. Next slide, please. On the next slide. So work-life interface is the intersection of work and private life. That intersection where they cross each other. Okay, that is what we call the work-life interface. Now, private life and professional life are these two. These are the two lives, the two scenarios we are trying to consider and trying to balance. Our private life, when we say private life, what we mean is our social life, our family, and our health. Those are what we call private life events. And the professional life side is the job, your work, your career. That is what we assume to be the work side of the equation. So we have the work life that we must balance. So this interface is actually bi-directional. When we say bi-directional, private life has effects on work life, and your work life also has effects on your professional life, and that is why they have to balance. Not just the work affecting your family. Your work can affect your family, and in turn, your family can affect your work, for example. So it can also affect it adversely or in a beneficial manner. Don't say adversely. It's not everything that's bad. Although this topic we're discussing is more of an adverse, the adverse side of it, but there's also a beneficial part of it. When your work is quiet sometimes, for example, let's look at the beneficial side. When you have a good work, you work well, you're earning well, definitely to have an impact on your family, because I can tell you that when you have enough money, a lot of issues are solved. So it's beneficial when you work more sometimes to the family. It's beneficial. But the adverse one is that you're working, you keep working and working because you want to earn more. And then you have the issue, you have the effect on you and the family at the end of the day. So we are going to focus more on the adverse one than the benefit. But we have to know, please, we're on the next slide. We have to know that there is also some benefit in that. When you work more, you earn more, you are able to please your family the more, and then it gets better sometimes like that. Okay, so that is it. It's bi-directional, it can be adverse and it can be beneficial. So work-life balance is hence the equilibrium between personal and professional life, just like on the scale, it can weigh up and down. So there must be an equilibrium. In physics, we talk about equilibrium, something that will make it balance, that will not sit on one side more than the other. So it's going to influence the psychological, the social, economical, and ultimately the mental well-being that we have. 1 out of 3 working adults from work-related stress is assumed to be stressed out. Actually, that's what it is. 1 out of 3 working adults suffer from work-related stress. Then the one that was carried out in Nigeria, numerous one, I just chose some of them. Amongst the university community, there was a research that was carried out, work-life balance practices and employers' productivity. They were trying to see the effect of the work-life balance. We might refer to this later on as WLB, and the effect on the productivity of the staff. And it was observed that there is a significant relationship between the work-life balance and employees' productivity in Nigerian university. Like where we are talking from now, in Al-Hikmah University as our host, it's peculiar to this kind of research. So they know that when there's a lot of imbalance amongst the employees, there's always an effect on the overall well-being of the community, which is the working place. Now, I don't want us to look at everything as working place, employees, even people that are self-employed, business people, you understand, artisans, all those, everybody it has affected, it will affect them. Work is work everywhere. Now, let's look at the risk related to work-life balance in summary. In summary, I summarize it to be the health part, when it's not balanced, unresolved conflicts. Then we have high absenteeism at work, poor performance, low productivity at work, financial loss. Can I move to the next slide? Now, looking at the health aspect of it, the risk of the health, this is where the focus should be, you know. So like I've said, when we are trying to define health, we have to define health as regards the physical, the mental, and the behavioral side. Okay, next slide, please. This table is a bit tiny, sorry. I don't want us to have many slides, but I'll try to explain, carry us along. So when we talk about health, an issue of work and life imbalance, this poses what we call stress. Stress can be acute stress, can be chronic stress. Anything we say is acute, usually is within 2 weeks, something that is happening almost immediately. The effect is on you almost immediately. And when we say chronic, usually is the thing that differentiates them is the timing and the duration. So chronic things mean they are like 2 weeks and above. It has been happening for 2 weeks and beyond. So they have different issues. So stress is one major issue that comes out of imbalance between the work and the working place. So I try to highlight the physical stress indicators. Those are the things you see that will make you know that this person is stressed. We have the physical, we have the mental, and then the behavioral. Now, these things, physical, mental, and behavioral, they're interrelated. They are always interrelated. And that is why it has been a fact that when we have patients or we have clients suffering from certain ailments, especially chronic diseases like hypertension, diabetes, when you manage a physical issue, which is the one we know, that is the hypertension, when you try to manage it together, you introduce a mental health professional and manage it with a little bit of the mental aspect, you tend to see a better result at the end of the day. You do better than to just face the physical aspect of management. And that is the same thing that will happen when you are managing anything. Physical stress, mental stress, and behavioral stress, they're interrelated. So what are the examples of the physical stress indicators? Like I said, acute ones, the things you see almost instantly when a person is stressed, when there's problem. Example, once of drink, take Coke, take snacks, you keep walking, instant energy is pumped into your blood system because you're taking sugar, pure sugar. You drink that, you get home, you're tired, you don't have appetite. You know when you're so tired sometimes you lose appetite completely. You go to sleep, you have to wake up very early again. You wake up early again, take your bath, you move. Again, you get Coke, you get donuts, you take all those things, you keep eating unhealthy things. So people lose appetite for good food. And at the same time, people react with stress sometimes by overeating. Some eat, they sit in one place from morning to night with the computer, working, eat this, eat that, they get this, they order that, they eat everything to relieve the stress. At the end of the day, they have issues on the body. Various aches. There are some things we call psychosomatic pains. Stress. It's not like someone beats you or you have a trauma somewhere. The pains will just keep coming. You understand? They're psychosomatic because of the stress. You have headaches, body aches. You don't know what it causes until you remove the cause of that pain. Like you have to relax. You have to sleep before it is resolved. Abdominal pain, sleep problems, of course, as expected. The sleep pattern has been altered. Biological rhythm has been altered. The normal time you're expected to sleep, you don't sleep at that time. You sleep at the wrong time, you wake at the wrong time. Your body is not balanced. So it has physical issues, the physical results on the body. You fall sick, person falls sick very often because you are not eating well, your immunity is dropping, the stress is high. So you can fall sick often. You have heart palpitation. Palpitation is when you are able to perceive your heartbeat. No one should, any healthy individual should not perceive the heartbeat. You are not supposed to feel your heartbeat. You are not supposed to feel your respiration too. When you feel your respiration, usually when you have problem like when you're wheezing or you're grunting, then there's a problem. When you are feeling your heartbeat, that is wrong, especially during anxiety, when you're not settled, restless. That is what we call palpitation. So palpitations can be stress indicator. So you know there's problem. Gastrointestinal upset too. When someone is stressed, stress can lead to hypermotility of the intestinal, the guts. The movement will be very fast, and so the person can have diarrhea. That is when you have emotional stress, you hear a news that disrupts you. It can upset you quickly. You can go to the toilet like 3 times at a time. Okay, so that is a form of stress, can affect the gastrointestinal tract. Constipation also can happen instead of diarrhea. You sit in one place for a long period of time, you don't exercise, the effect of gravity will not pull down what you're eating down for you to be able to go to the toilet often. You don't even have the time to take vegetables and snacks. So it will pull up, it will not come down, then you'll be constipated. Okay, so those are examples of physical stress indicators. The mental one are the ones that people might not see. Maybe other people really want to see. They might not even feel sometimes, but they are there. Feeling of low esteem. They are stressed out, you're not achieving anything, you don't feel good. Nervousness, anxiety, which in turn can lead to the palpitations that we talked about. You're anxious. Even when you sleep, you don't sleep well. You're already thinking of what you're going to do tomorrow. You have to be at work by 5. You already have 15 orders to attend to. They want to get you, you must deliver by 11 in the morning. So you can't even sleep. Instead of you to be having sleep hormones pumping into your system, what are you having? Adrenaline is being pushed into the system. You can't sleep. Okay, so that is already affecting the mental health. Excessive anger, depression, you have worked for morning, you are depressed, you're not achieving anything, you're just angry. Any slight irritation, you're angry. It's the kind of person that you get home and then the daddy is home, the kids will run into the rooms. You don't want to say that because daddy is always upset. So they have to go inside the room. Welcome, sir. Because daddy will be upset. Daddy will always shout and see that there's something wrong. So this trusting overwhelmed and unable to cope. You know, we said that you have to cope with the normal stress of life. Once coping strategy is not in place, it has to have effect on the body. Even the cognitive, there is cognitive difficulty, inability to comprehend very well. You can't concentrate. You understand? At the end of the day, you struggled for a role, or you struggle for get quotation for a work that you want to do. They give you, they say, okay, bring quotation. You can't concentrate, you can't think well. You just quickly develop something. You even make a lot of mistakes and then you submit. At the end of the day, say, okay, come and do the supply within 1 week. Then you decide what you want to do the supply. You say that you have made a lot of mistakes on the quotation. Again, you are depressed, you are down, you have done. So at the end of the day, you are not achieving what you are expected to achieve. At the end of the day, again, ultimately, you have behavioral side of it where the sick days are increased, diminished creativity. At the end of the day, you might even drop out at the work because you're not achieving what you're supposed to achieve. Mood swings, lower tolerance, frustration, and so on and so on. So there are many things actually. I just managed to summarize it in this table. The keyword here is that physical health, mental health, behavioral stress, everything, they are interrelated. Okay. Here again, it's just a summary of the effects on the health on the individual and on the workplace. We'll still talk about it later in the okay ahead. We're going to talk more about that. So the next one again, please go to the next slide. Again, it's just a summary of the causes of the stress where they come up from work. We should be able to know what are those causes, what are those things that are causing the stress, intrinsic from the job itself, poor physical working condition. I normally say this when you are going for a work, even if the work is much, the environment in which you find yourself to work matter a lot. Everything about the place will matter. You are going to work, you should feel good. You should dress up well. You should look, your office that you're going to spend like 8 hours inside must look very, very attractive. It must be welcoming. It must be warm. You know, there should be like a corner where you put a flower. You understand? Not that you enter a room like lecturers, the first thing you see is stack of books, projects, what do we call it, scripts piled up in one corner. You see, you understand, it's not appealing at all. It has effect on the mental health. Let your office be inviting. Or get one small flower, small refrigerator, the smell, air freshener inside the room. It has a way of making you calm down. Even when you have plenty work to do, you will work with it. You understand? And then you'll be happy. You are hearing something you like. You don't want to advocate for music here, but you are listening to something that is making you calm down. You understand? So it's very important. So they're part of the intrinsic things that can trigger stress at work. You go there, everything is just like that, and then you are like, oh, we are here again. The organization should be able to differentiate the roles. There shouldn't be role ambiguity where they put everything together on you. You are the one that will attend to this. You are the one that will do this. No, you should separate it. One person should do this. One person should do that. Everything shouldn't be on one head. Okay, then your career development is very good. Over promotion is a problem. Over promotion. It's just, for example, now, when you have a child in primary 3 and you said you should she's very good, she's brilliant, please move to GSS1. Yeah, she's good, but she has not developed enough to cope for that area. The same thing applies when you are working. All right, the study is very good. Just promote him to the level of that. It should be stressful on that person. She will lose it. So just make the promotion the way it should be. Under promotion too, with demotivate and with like make the person feels like the low self-esteem. Someone that has been doing promotion exam and is not being promoted and is still working, it's going to weigh down on that person. Then relationship at work, your colleagues, your superior, it has to be good. When there are problems with that, it will weigh on the individual. When you talk in organizational structure and climate, you are not little or no participation in the session. When you're in a meeting and you want to talk and they say, hello, are you a PhD holder? And you say, no, please sit down, not for you. You understand? It will demoralize the individual. You don't feel like working again. At the end of the day, all these effects will now come down to individual, the way to affect them, the extra organizational effects, which is the family and the life crisis. And at the end of the day, it leads to all these health issues that we have talked about, the physical, the mental, and the behavioral one. Can you move on to the next slide? Slide 12. So what is the aim of this work-life balance? It enables employees to efficiently do their jobs and at the same time provides flexibility to handle personal concerns. So that is the aim. The job should be fine, the home and personal life should be fine too. The next one. So how do we balance up this work and life? We have the role of the employer and we have the role of the employee. Next slide, please. So for the employer side, I'll try to summarize this. Employer's protection is very key. You are working in a place that you don't even know how protected you are. Security, job security, zero. You can be called off at any time, yet you are working. It affects the mental health. You don't know what you are doing. You don't know where you're going to be. You're not motivated. The employers are supposed to treat staff as adults who have commitments. Of course, you employ a woman in a reproductive age. You know she's going to deliver at some point. She's going to get married and deliver at some point. You should have provision for maternity leave for her. You should know that she's going to go off at some point. You can't say she should just go for 1 month and go and rest and come back because you can't afford to employ more than that. That is wrong. You understand? My sister was telling me a day ago, she's working outside Nigeria and she said she gave birth and I was like, when are you going to resume? She said she has maternity leave of 1 year, 1.5 years. Of course, percentage, you won't take all of the salary, but if you have 1 year, 1.5 years, your child is already grown. Of course, you have enough time to take care of everything. So you have to consider all these things that we are adults. Your employee, they are adults, they have commitments, they have to be attended to. They can't just be working and working. So you have to be considerate. You are having a meeting. People with you, you know they have children and they have to close at school by 4. And then you say they must stay till 7 o'clock. How do you want them to cope? So you have to encourage them to lessen the burden on them. Incentives too, very important. Best staff awards and gifts is very good, like in our institution. Now, every month we have the best staff of the month. You should encourage them. Sponsors, don't just sponsor for education. Go for PhD, go and work. You should sponsor for vacations too. Staff should be allowed to go on vacation. You sponsor them, let them go enjoy your zone, and then refreshing, they come back. Then there should be flexible working hours. You shouldn't just fix it. When you know that this period, we are very busy at this period, give those ones that are not very busy, let them be relaxed. Let them resume at the time that you know they are very busy. There should be staff constitutional amendment too. The constitution shouldn't be rigid. It should be able to amend to suit the needs of the staff. All right. Also, next slide, flexible leaves. When you are taking your leave as staff, it's usually not encouraged for you to take it at a stretch like that. Take it in bits. 1 week, work, 1 week, work, because if you stay home for that long time, at the end of the day, the work-life balance is not that okay. The life is taking much of it to get tired. Excessive rest also is not to, can affect the mental health. So make it in portions. Then employers should be able to extend leaves without pay. If you feel I'm not settled enough, okay, if you know you can work for like another month, but we're not going to pay you. If it's okay for the person, can go on that. Then casual leaves should be encouraged. Once in a while, I don't feel good, casual leave. Sick leave is compulsory. For anyone that doesn't sick, you should be able to assume a sick role. Then social and financial support is a very good example. There must be crèche in place in facilities. Good crèche, well equipped, where mothers can put their child and they can access close to the working center. They can be able to go there and attend to their kids. Recreational facilities is essential for institutions, employers. Let them have breaks. Let them go there to eat, lunch, breakfast, discuss again, move away from the working environment and then go back. Then gymnasiums are good. If you work for many hours during the day, to get back home, you can't go back to another place. But if you have gyms inside your facility, it helps. That when I close, I can do 1 hour here before I go back home. The staff loan will go a long way to relieve the financial burden that can happen. You give staff, you want to do something, you give them the loan, and then you start deducting little by little, such a way that it will not affect the staff too much. So we help them financially. The next slide, please. Under the employees rule, there are sometimes called the flexi time, and sometimes called, we have the flexi time, we have job sharing, we have teleworking. Okay, flexi time is just, next slide, schedule for a work with a starting and a finishing time set by employer and within agreed limits by the employee. When an employer employs an employee, there must be a signed agreement that you'll be working from this time to this time or this period to this period. It's very good because the employee will be able to plan ahead. Okay, whatever I have to do, I'll focus on my work this time. After this work, I can focus on something else. Then we have employers, job sharing. Job sharing is another term that it's when 2 or more people are retained on a part-time to perform a job, normally fulfilled by one person working full-time. For example, I'll give an example here. We do screening for students. When they resume, there are many. We can have like 1,000 screening. And in normal notes, we have just 2 lab technicians to do this test. What do we apply? They will work for 1 week. Within this 1 week, we're going to screen all the students on that, and then they can go. The 2 that are here, they are not going to be stressed. They will be fine. They just coordinate. So that's example of job sharing. It helps a lot in relieving stress. Employees' role too. Another one is teleworking. This teleworking ensures the ability for you to work outside the remote place where you're working. Next slide, please. So when you're at home sometimes and you work from home, it's always easier because the dressing is casual, you are free. Next slide. You are free. You can work within that place and there won't be any problem. You are free. So sometimes it can help the employee to do more. Now, next slide, please. I try to write those things out that will help us relieve and maintain this balance. Time management is very essential. You have to manage the time. The use of technology eases the work that you do. Flexible schedule. Don't be rigid. There's no perfection. Don't expect that you will do everything to perfection. Consistency is key. Don't be late. You are punctual. Let it be like that. You'll be recognized. Set boundaries. Very important. People still go home with computer after work. When they get home, they still continue. Then I tell you, see, when you close by 4, if you have extra work, maybe this period, the workload is quite much. Don't take it home. Add 1 hour to it. Working. Mom is always working. Why don't you just complete it, add extra time? When you get home, leave everything work and face home. You have to set the working hours. At least a day per week must be your off, that you will not work at all. Then you should schedule social and family time. Occasions once in a while. You should attend. It boosts your good mood. You understand? Boost your good hormones. Then you schedule a me time. Everyone is saying it now. Me time. Have a time for yourself, relax. Sponsor yourself, vacation, and so on. Then have a dedicated workplace. Like I said, let it be your office is your office. Your home should be your home. In a good bedroom, a bedroom is not supposed to have a television. Your bedroom should be the bed, the warm light, like a very mild warm light. You understand? Nothing about work should be in the bedroom. No television, no screen. When you enter that room, it should appeal to you. The only thing that the room should be shouting is sleep, sleep, sleep. No other thing. Then you can adjust and readjust as you're moving on. And then you should have a way of managing your stress by using many coping techniques. Some people do yoga, exercise, and so on. Then you reevaluate everything you are doing the past 1 month. Are we okay? Should you go to the clinic, you do checkup? Is it fine? If it is not fine, your baby is getting up. Please adjust. Change your working time. More sleeping hours, at least 6 to 8 hours is the range for you to sleep as an adult. You boost it up a little bit, and then you adjust, and then you reevaluate again, and then you adjust accordingly. Okay? What are the benefits? There's increased productivity. We have decreased staff turnover, and recruitment cost is reduced when you have a staff that is healthy and is working well. You don't have to be having excuse duty, sick, excuse me, sick, excuse duty, I'm sick and that. You don't have to be employing, but treat them well. You will maintain them well. Improve the morale. People are working, they're getting incentives, they're getting appreciated. Everything is moving on well. They keep to do more, and the productivity is increased. Then there will be better teamwork. There's no conflict, there's no problem. Then move on. Improve on the job relationship. There will be self-satisfaction. You yourself, you are fine with yourself. Next slide, please. You are fine, you are good. It boosts your esteem. You understand? Improved health well-being generally, more value and balance in the daily life. Okay, you earn money, you should be able to enjoy it. You should not spend the money on hospitals. You shouldn't spend the money treating yourself at the end of the day, or you earn a lot. So when it's now time for you, you are walking up and down, you can't enjoy it. So what are the key points? The next slide, please. I think this is the last one. The key point that we are taking home today: your life matters. Okay, your work also matters, because without life, there's no work. And when you have a work, the essence of it is for you to enjoy life. Your family and the loved ones matter. They are the ones that are the salt of your life. So if you work and then you forget them or you affect them, at the end of the day, you will not have anywhere to settle down to. Okay, nature has a way of getting back at you if you mess with it. You don't sleep, and then you keep going like that. You don't sleep 2 hours, you're up again, you are going. So there's no other person that will do it. So it's only me. I have to do it. If you doze off on your screen, on your steering for 2 seconds, 3 seconds, it can end many lives. The life of you, the person you are carrying in the car. So you have to do what you have to do. You don't sleep, the car will come back, the thing will come back to you, definitely. Then you are replaceable. Please let that be with us today. You are not one omega, alpha and omega. You are replaceable. Once something happens to you and you have to leave that work, someone else will take it over. You are taking a lot of orders because you are good, you are going, you are pushing. Anything happens to you, another person will come up. It's an opportunity for another person to replace you. Okay, so you are replaceable. So how balanced are you? That is the question we are going to look for each other. Go back to the scale and see. Lastly, coping skills. You are trying to balance the two, but you're not working. It's not working. You're still irritable. You're still doing this. Please speak to a psychologist. Seek for help. Talk to somebody. They will refer you to somebody that will treat you. Finally, okay, this one does not have that thing. That's slide 26. It was the bonus slide. It just shows, yes, this is the bonus slide for us. This is for you to know that there's a way you can cheat nature. You don't have to be taking all these drugs. This is the way they come naturally, and then you feel good. You need dopamine in your life. You need oxytocin in your life. You need serotonin, endorphin. Makes you happy. You walk and you're happy, and everything balanced. Thank you very much for the marathon. I wish I could take more time to explain more, but we have to
Thank
follow
you very
the
much,
timetable.
Doctor. We really enjoyed
Thank you
your,
very much.
your discourse.
Yeah,
And I
thank you very
believe
much.
that
So,
we'll take all the
come on.
suggestions for our well-being. Please, if you have questions, we have just 2 to 3 minutes to take that. Kindly ask your questions or send it in the chat box so that the doctor can address that. We have just 2 to 3 minutes to do that, please.
Hello. Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Thank you very much for that beautiful representations. We really enjoyed your presentations.
Thank you very much.
You have done well, but we have a lot that you have given us the information about. But we want to know more. Which of these? It is the these social or spiritual,
yes,
that contribute. Which of these contributed much on the behavioral traits? Is it the social or the spiritual? That's first questions. And again, we want, when you are talking about the employer's role, so you made mention of the roles of the employer,
yeah.
but we appreciate if some of these constitutions for on the part of the employer could be implemented in assisting the productivity. Then on the part of the employee too. So the problem we have is for us now to be able to see how the employee productivity can be measured so as to see how those will be much rewarded. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Can I take the question now or we'll go about one?
Please take it as they
I think you can respond now. All right, okay, sir. So you were saying that which one, spiritual, has more meaning? It's actually more of a subjective thing, I would say, because if you want to measure your level of healthiness when it comes to your health, when it comes to social and spiritual well-being, it's more of a subjective thing. Some people they are fine. But some people they have to go on the highway, they have to go to occasions or like almost every week for them to get like they can be fine and they can feel well taken care of. You understand? There's spirituality. Look at the atheists, people that don't even believe in anything. Aren't they fine? They are fine. You understand? Because their own belief of spirituality is that there is nothing, okay, and makes sense than when you have spiritual. People don't even have spiritual life at all. They have more of social life and they are still okay. So it's more of a subjective one. So second, you said the employer's role. How can the Constitution help? Yes, Yes, people have always been talking about it. You can't have a constitution for years and you not amend it. You have to amend as the year goes on. You have to look at the condition around you and amend them. For example, now look at the exchange rate of dollar and naira. You can't base your salary of 10 years ago is what you have now. You have to adjust with disabilities. There are some percentage. Before now you have a percentage that you must employ. So constitution should not be rigid. There must be some flexibility in it according to when the work, according to how the things are going. So the employer should be able to amend the constitution according to the needs of the employee. In essence, I hope I have answered the question. So it will help in the productivity. So you said employees' productivity can it be measured? It's a very good thing. There should be a way of measuring employers' productivity. It should be objective. That will let us know that yes, unlike, for example, in bankers now, you set limits for them that you must bring so work. The measurement should be in place. You shouldn't get more. There should be some people that will set the limit that no, it's too much. How can you tell them to bring so much number of customers within these days? So they can work on that. That you don't have to bring up to this before you can be awarded that yes, you are productive. Once you are able to meet this limit, you are good. Okay, so there should be a way of measuring the productivity, and it should be objective. That is it. Thank you. I hope I've answered your.
Okay. Thank you, Doctor. Any other question?
Thank you very much.
You can raise up your hand
Yes,
or mute yourself and speak. So that we'll use the next 3 to 5 minutes to do Q&A.
While we just await the response again, I want to give us another take home, please. When you are done with your work as a personal person, even if it is going to be that you get home by 6 o'clock in the evening, let your work end at your working place. Let your social life, your private life start like that and enjoy it. Enjoy it. You must have a hobby. Everybody should have a hobby. That is a very good stress coping strategy. When you have a hobby, you revert back to that hobby when you're at home. Playing with children can be a hobby. You know, having pets can be your hobby. They increase all those hormones that I posted for you, that they are like they are sweet hormones. They are hormones that makes you happy, that make you happy. So it's always good to have that opportunity to make you feel bad and good. So even when you're stressed at work, you know that you're going home to meet relaxation. You enter your room, everything you see is sleep, sleep, sleep. No TV, no screen, the computer, and then you're able to sleep. Your office too must be beautiful. You must feel good at work. Thank you very much.
Doctor, since we don't have any other question to address, let me thank you sincerely for providing this time for this lecture. We pray that God increase your wisdom. And when next we call you, we hope that you'll be there to avail yourself for such discussions again. Thank you for your time.
It's always a pleasure. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, participants. Let's see again next week.
Thank you very much.
Okay, just send in your email so that we can send you.
Yes, I've sent.
We can send you the slides, the video, and we'll update you on our subsequent webinars. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor.
Very much. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
I think I can leave.
Thank you, Doctor. Bye.
Thank you, Ma. Thank you. Bye.